Hi everybody, thank you for being here. It gives me immense pleasure to present our work on studying the effectiveness of timing advertisements on social media. So ads on social media are annoying. We just hate it when ads disrupt our typical workflow of watching some content, or we often tend to skip these ads. However, ads are important for the platforms to sustain, and alternatively, if platforms become pay per use, this would lead to inequity in internet content access. Again, bad ad allocations may negatively impact the current status quo of ad allocations is based on fixed or curated set of rules such as after n content or after t seconds of platform engagement. But a user's ad So we conduct a stat study on 100,000 users on Snapchat. First, we did a preliminary analysis on ad reception or the proportion of duration people watch ads. Simply plotting this heat map on several users' ad reception with hours of a day along the horizontal axis, we find that there is no real difference. However, every user is different and probably effects are washed out at an overall scale. So we clustered users on their aggregated activities such as how much they visit the platform, how much time they spend, or what are the usual activities and engagement patterns that they have. So plotting each cluster along vertical axis, we find So, having found preliminary evidence of person-centric varying ad reception on the platform, we have three aims. First, we study what is the effect of time. So, measuring the effect of timing ads would be best examined in an experimental or A/B test setting, but such methods have caveats. Like experimental disbursements of ads may lead to unintended consequences of user experience. So rather, we adopt a quasi-experimental approach where we split every user's timeline into a baseline and a measurement period, where the baseline period is essentially to understand the user's behaviors, and the measurement period is when the actual measurement of ad effectiveness is conducted. We find that a treated group shows greater ad effectiveness both in terms of ad reception and ad CTR with statistical significance. That is, when users are shown ads in their preferred times, they are more likely to be receptive to the ads. And our paper also makes other recommendations of ad allocations on the in the moment behaviors. And we also simulate ad allocations based on our recommendations, where we find that our allocations lead to much more fairer distribution than present ad allocations on the platform. And in the second plot, we also find that simulated ad allocations based on activity and preferred times lead to an increase in ad value by 2.8% and 7.1%, both of which are actually super significant given the quantity of ads and user base on the platform. Now we elaborate a number of implications of our work in the paper. Like this work recommends effective ad allocations, which could also motivate fewer ads on the platforms and achieving the same business goals. Again, our work highlights the efficacy of privacy-preserving and ethical approaches of machine learning. Thank you for listening, and I'll be very happy to take any questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out to me either during the conference or otherwise. And thank you again.